Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Inside Career Technical Education. I'm Ann Baldwin, one of the hosts of this program.
And I'm Ann's co-host, Jim Bologa, President and CEO of Porter and Chester Institute and YTI Career Institute.
You've got a big job, and we've got a big announcement. We're so excited that we are going to be introducing a new welding program at the new London, Connecticut campus for Porter and Chester Institute. And here to speak with us about that is Peter Barber, who is the program coordinator and the lead instructor for the welding program that will be starting right after the first of the year. So, Peter, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
So where do we start? It's great to have you along. So where do we start, Jim? How did this come about?
Well, I mean, for us, we're constantly evaluating new employment opportunities, if you will, for folks who live in the communities around our schools. And welding has been coming up for several years now. We started to explore this. And probably 2 years or so ago, in a meaningful way, we took a look, obviously, at the employment data because, again, I mean, our goal is to, provide the educational programming that allows folks to become employed in,
right.
in a profession, and again, I think as you look at welding, welding is one of those programs that depending on the manufacturing needs of a community, it's just vital. It's a vital piece of all of that.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about you, Peter. So congratulations on your position. I know you've been hard at work putting the pieces and the program together. So what is your background and what are you looking forward to most as you implement this new welding program?
I did 30 years with Norwich Public Utilities as a maintenance mechanic, but that position actually involved a lot of fabrication, a lot of welding. It involved a lot of other facets of the trade, but the welding was something that I always enjoyed doing. The funny thing is that people tell you can't make a living looking out a window, but guess what? That's exactly what you do when you're looking out through a welding helmet.
Right.
So it was a very good career. It was good to me, and the sad part about it is that there weren't a lot of younger people moving into the trades, any of the trades, and this was my opportunity to give a little back, see if I can encourage some people to take a different path.
Well, you bring up a good point, Peter, because it is giving back. And so many of your instructors and so many of the folks that work, whether it's at YTI or PCI, they say that they've worked in the field, they've made a good living, and now they want to give back and bring in the younger generation. And I think we can say that the trades have just, the old persona of, if you don't go to a 4-year university or if you don't do this or do that, then you're not as good as everybody else, is totally diminished because these young people and adult learners are learning these trades and they're getting out there, they're getting hired while they're still learning in a lot of cases.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, there's a shift, I think, happening in the country, and it's basically career versus college right now. And I think you're spot on, and Peter alluded to it as well, that these are viable opportunities for folks. And so, I would say if you're between, 16 and 70, welding is a really interesting trade. And if you do like building things and you are artistic, it's one of those trades that, draws on all those skills.
Right.
And, and I would just, say to our listeners, grandparents, parents, uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, this is a really viable path. I mean, this is a skill that will be with you for your life. And, as Peter mentioned, fabrication, I mean, I'm just amazed at what students can build. Because again, we have this program in Bridgeport as well, and I'm just amazed at what our students and our faculty down there have built. I mean, the things that they've fabricated it's impressive. And if you want to, I think go into a field where you have a sense of completion, every day, you sort of leave, your profession, with a sense that you've actually gotten something done.
Yeah,
and
you
built
accomplished
something.
something.
Yeah.
So, Peter, talk about the program. Talk about the equipment that you have in New London. What is it that students will be experiencing? I know that you've been very involved in the curriculum for this.
Well, the curriculum is a pretty all-encompassing one. It involves all the different phases of welding, which is going to start with oxy-fuel welding, which is an old profession, dates back into the late 1800s, early 1900s, and then it progresses all the way through with SMAW, which is stick welding, GMAW, which is gas metal arc welding, more commonly known as MIG welding, GTAW welding, which is TIG welding, and there's also a phase of welding called FCAW, which is flux core welding. It's more along the line of the MIG welding, but it has a little different wire with it. But the students will be exposed to all the different types of welding, so they'll be well-rounded when they graduate from the program. The thing that's actually kind of nice is that welding has a lot of different I'll call it facets to it that the students will be able to progress. Excuse me. They'll be able to progress through a variety of different areas if they choose to. One of the ones that Jim mentioned was fabrication. But then there's structural welding for people that just want to be welders. That's all they want to do is they want to just put the mask down and basically just burn wire or rod, doing bridges, submarines, ship hulls. So the list goes on with structural as one, pipe welding, maintenance welding, which is the background that I came from, fabrication. There's underwater welding. There's just so many different things. And one of the things that's kind of interesting is that there are carpenter welders that work with the pile driving union. There are automotive welders that work not only in body shops, but also work in the automotive field, welding parts of the vehicles for both repair and for fabrication. You have the heavy equipment that we see out on construction sites. Those pieces of equipment are all welded together. Somebody has to put them together, and the list goes on.
The possibilities are endless. I mean, you really put that in perspective for us. Peter, the other thing is, we saw in Bridgeport when you opened the welding program down there, Jim, just the excitement of the folks, whether, it was the marine industry, down there with all the electric boat and all these different industries that are just screaming for help and have all these big contracts. What kind of a feedback, I guess you would say, are you getting from area companies that are excited that you're starting this program in New London? Peter.
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking Jim that.
No,
My mistake.
Okay.
I think that a lot of the area employers, we did meet with some of them, and they are very interested in getting candidates to go to work for them. They're looking for entry-level welders. They're looking for people that want to start a new career, and there's definitely a shortage. You don't have to really work very hard to look. If you went on one of the websites, just like Indeed being one of them, and you looked, you'd be amazed at how many welding jobs are available. And the list goes on and on. I don't know how many welders Electric Boat is looking for, but I know that they're looking for quite a few. There are many local contractors or employers that are looking for welders, both in the aerospace industry and whatnot right around here, because we have a number of different companies that actually do that type of work. They build for the aircraft industry, they build for the marine industry, and as I had said earlier, there's the contractors and employers that are looking for people just to weld, whether it be for repairs or anything else.
Well, and Jim, you mentioned earlier before we started this podcast, there's also an opportunity to train some of these companies' workers within your facility.
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, I think again, as Peter has mentioned, I mean, I think there is a significant shortage of welders. There's clearly a skills gap there, and and again, I think if, for our viewers who are listening, I mean, if you know somebody who, likes to work with their hands and as Peter said, sort of, you have to obviously put on a welding helmet and look behind a shielded face mask. But again, I mean, there's a lot of opportunities to build things. And if you like building things or fixing things, this is, and you have to be, the great thing about, I think, a lot of these jobs is that we have educational programs for, welding included, is that you have to have some creativity. You've got to have some artistic ability.
Right, and you have to have the ability to get the job done. You're self-motivated.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, and it's just it's. I mean, I think trying to paint a little bit of a picture here for our viewers and our listeners that welding is exciting. I mean, I have to say I've actually I've done it and I'm actually I really thoroughly enjoy it and I recently took my son to a welding experience as well, and he did a phenomenal job, and I would just simply say that it's actually I enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, it was hard to get Peter. It was hard to get Jim off the simulator. He wouldn't get off until he got 100%. And that's the cool thing about these simulators is that you're teaching these students with a simulator that is just so realistic, but yet you don't have the fire and the other things that are involved in that until they get to that point, right?
Yeah,
You're correct.
Yeah. It's a. I mean, again, it's a great. I think it's a great. And Peter can comment on this as well, but it's a great introductory sort of tool for somebody who's never really, held, a welding wand,
right?
To sort of get a little bit of the, the feel and the sound. Because again,
and it's so realistic. It's like virtual reality.
The
technology and what they're teaching with is just absolutely incredible.
No, I mean, I think it is impressive. It's an impressive technology, and again, I think if you're an experienced welder and you were to get on it, I think you would be, pretty impressed. Again, nothing obviously, can eliminate the real world experience, but again, I think it does a really good job of approximating what it's like to weld.
Right. So, Peter, let's talk about the start. And, Jim, let's talk about that because you're going to be signing students up. There's a new start coming up. This is a brand new, if you're just tuning in or just got called into the room, we're speaking with Peter Barber, and he is the welding program coordinator and also the lead instructor for the new program in New London. So we got to wrap things up, guys, but let's talk about the new start. Let's talk about where the folks watching this podcast can go to get more information.
Yeah, so I guess go ahead, Peter.
I'm going to let Jim take over on some of it, but I think that one thing that I'd like to leave everybody with is the fact that this is the one trade where you actually need to really go to a place to learn, because the average person isn't going to have the opportunity to play around with a welder. You need a facility and you need instruction, and we offer that. And I'll let Jim take over on the start date.
Right. So the start is January 9th. So again, for our viewers, we there's not a lot of time right now. So I mean,
But now's the time. There's not a lot of time, but now's the time.
But now is the time.
January's right around the corner. People are sitting there. What should I do with my life? Well, this could be the answer.
Yeah, now is the time. Find the new you in the new year. There you go. I would just I would encourage the viewers and the listeners to to go to our website at porterchester.edu, check out the welding program in New London. The program consists of 4 10-week terms. So again,
flexibility.
It's flexible. It is on ground. So if you are interested in this, we're offering Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, an early day session from 7 to 3, and then we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And then we also have an evening program that's going to run from 5:30 to 10:30 Monday through Thursday, and then 5:30 to 9:30 on Friday. And that's and again, financial aid is available for those who qualify. We're excited about this program. And, again, I think as you come into the new year, if you are interested in the welding program, I'd have you come,
Check it out.
Yeah, check us out. Go on the website, but, schedule a tour and come check out, the facility. It's a brand new facility. I think it's impressive. And we've got brand new welding gear, and again, it's really an exciting time, and
Yep.
and I would encourage everybody to, again, seeing is believing, and I would encourage folks to come to the campus and check it out.
Well, Peter Barber, thank you so much for being on this podcast. I think you've really generated a lot of interest for a lot of people. I hope that's our goal here, to let you know that it's never too late, regardless of your situation. As we said, this is an opportunity for a new start in the new year, and we encourage you to go to porterchester.edu for more information on this program or any of the programs that Porter and Chester offers. So thank you again, Peter, for being here. Thank you, Jim, for doing such a great job, and we couldn't do it without you. Thank you for tuning in to this edition of Inside Career Technical Education. We invite you to go to porterchester.edu to learn more. That's porterchester.edu.